in Britain. Together they make up the Eggheads, arguably the most formidable quiz team in the country. The question is, can they be beaten? Welcome to Eggheads, the show where a team of 5 quiz challengers pit their wits against possibly the greatest quiz team in Britain. You might recognise them as they are Goliaths in the world of TV quiz shows. They are the Eggheads. And taking on the awesome might of our quiz Goliaths today are the Duckenders from Northamptonshire. The majority of the team live in the same cul-de-sac called Duck End, and they form a local quiz team who've been competing in the Banbury and Oxford Quiz League for over 15 years. Let's meet them.
Hi, I'm Trevor, 62, a retired airline pilot.
Hi, I'm Terry, I'm 59 and I'm a company director.
Hello, I'm Clive, I'm 60, I'm a retired European IT project manager.
Hello, I'm Bruce, I'm 68 and I'm a retired teacher.
Hi, I'm John, I'm 58, I'm a retired HR director.
So Trevor, it's Duck End, for three of you at least.
3 of us live there, yeah. Small village called Hinton-in-the-Hedges, just halfway between Oxford and Northampton.
And you're mainly retired, all bar one of you.
Poor old Terry's still working, unfortunately. Yeah.
Are you retiring soon, Terry?
Not for at least another 5 years.
Maybe on your winnings from tonight.
Maybe from tonight.
But you keep busy and you keep quizzing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see how you do. Every day there is £1,000 worth of cash up for grabs for our challengers. However, if they fail to defeat the Eggheads, the prize money rolls over to the next show. So, Duckenders, the Eggheads have won the last 8 games, which means £9,000. Says you can't beat them. Now, the first head-to-head battle will be on the subject of politics. Challengers, you can decide which one of you has been reading in newspapers every morning in your retirement or in your work time. Terry, who wants to take on the Egghead? And which Egghead?
Which one do we go for?
Which one do you want to go for? Bruce?
I would think Bruce.
Do you want to have a go at it?
Bruce? Oh.
Yeah? Bruce?
Well, whoever he is.
Bruce? Yes, Bruce, yeah. Right. Who's not
Okay.
Bruce, retired teacher, you've got all 5 to choose from.
Who do you want to pop up? Who do you reckon?
Stunned silence.
Absolutely. Yeah, they are.
Chris?
Chris, please.
Chris, so it's Bruce from the Duckenders versus Chris from the Eggheads. To ensure there's no conferring, would you both please take your positions in the question room? So Bruce, you were a secondary school teacher?
I was for many years.
And now you train doctors to make speeches. Tell us about that.
Well, it's a presentation skills job, and when they have a conference and they want some last-minute preparation, we restructure and tell them how to speak loudly and clearly like I'm trying to do now.
And I'm thinking speeches, politicians, you're almost in that zone. Oh dear.
I'd love to think. I'd love to think.
You seem to crumple for a second there. Let's see how you do. I'm going to ask each of you 3 multiple choice questions on politics in turn. Whoever answers the most questions correctly is the winner. And Bruce, you have the choice of whether you want the first or second set of questions.
I'll go first, please.
What was the name of the one-time friend of Monica Lewinsky who secretly taped their conversations and passed the information on to Kenneth Starr? Was it Kathleen Willey, Paula Jones or Linda Tripp?
I don't know the answer to this question, but I sort of got a feeling that Paula Jones and Kathleen Willey are a little bit obvious, so I'm going for Linda Tripp.
Linda Tripp is the correct answer. Bruce, well done. Your question, Chris. What is the first middle name of Tony Blair? Charles, Peter or Philip?
Philip. Well, just on the euphony of the thing, Anthony Charles sounds better than Anthony Peter or Anthony Philip, so I'll say it's Charles.
You're quite right. Anyone want to go on the third?
Linton.
Anthony Charles Linton Blair. That's right. Bruce, back to you. The Texan Congressman Charlie Wilson is best known for aiding which country in their fight for independence from the Soviet Union in the 1980s? Was it Afghanistan, Poland or Romania?
Well, Poland and Romania may have been under the Soviet heel, as it were, but I think the only war that took place against them was in Afghanistan, so I'm going for Afghanistan.
Spot on, yeah. Well done. Chris, your question. Likud and Kadima are two of the political parties in which country? Italy, Israel, or Iceland?
They're two of the political parties in the Knesset in Israel.
Quite right too. Two barnstorming performances here. No lack of certainty at all on these answers. 2-2. Bruce, your third question. Of whom did the Labour MP Tony Banks once remark, if he became a funeral director, people would stop dying? Was it about Ian Duncan Smith, John Major, or Michael Howard?
Well, you couldn't say it about John Major because he was such a nice bloke. And I don't think Ian Duncan Smith had the sort of capacity to stir up such emotion. And I think it was the man of the night, or something of the night about him, Michael Howard.
It's impeccable logic, but you're wrong. It was actually John Major. Chris, if you take this, you have taken Bruce out of the final round. There's a lot riding on it. Here's your question. Who succeeded John Reed as Secretary of State for Defence in May 2006? John Hutton, Des Brown, or Andy Burnham?
Well, I used to know a Des Brown. It wasn't him, but the name does ring a bell, so I'll say Des Brown.
Is that the only name that rings a bell?
Well, it's anyone that I know, yeah. I think he did take over defence, Des Brown, yeah. Yeah.
Well, either through luck or wisdom, you're quite right, Chris. Well done. It was Des Brown. And Bruce, you were beaten there by our egghead, so as a result, you won't be able to help your team in the final round. Bad luck. Would you please both come back and join your teams? Well, the upside there, Bruce, is we've got a quote for our collection, haven't we?
Absolutely.
If he became a funeral director, people would stop dying. There we go. Bad luck on that round. As it stands, the challengers have lost one brain from the final round, while the eggheads have not lost any brains. The next subject is music. Who from the challengers wants to go on music? And against you. Terry, that was immediate. You were press gang there suddenly.
Yeah, he volunteered.
Now, do you sense any weakness on this team on music?
That's a point, isn't it? Yeah.
You can't have Chris.
You can't have Chris.
And
I think CJ's
if you
quite
watch
good
the
on
programme a
music.
lot, you'll know that that's a shame.
Have a go at Daphne.
I've been advised by my captain, who watches this programme extensively, that I should choose Daphne.
All right. So, Terry.
Doesn't like that. That's a good.
She doesn't like that, but you know, she can, yeah, you'd be surprised. Terry from the Duckenders versus Daphne from the Eggheads. Once again, to ensure there's no conferring, would you please take your positions in the question room? I'm going to ask each of you 3 questions on music in turn. Terry, would you like the first set of questions or the second set?
I'd like the first, please, Jeremy.
And you're a big Dylan fan, I gather.
Yes, very much so.
Let's see if he comes up. You've got to pick a pocket or two is a song from which musical? Oliver, Annie, or Les Miserables?
And that would be Oliver.
That would be right. Well done. Very subdued clapping here. Maybe because they all knew it. Daphne, who recorded the 1992 single I Will Always Love You, which spent 10 weeks at #1 in the UK charts? Was it Tony Braxton, Whitney Houston, or Mariah Carey?
I'm hoping it's Whitney Houston.
What are you basing that on?
Do you know, I think I've actually heard it.
You've actually heard the song?
Yes.
What, by accident or?
No, actually, it's a very pleasant, romantic song.
And you're right, it was Whitney Houston.
Oh,
Was used as the theme from the Houston film The Bodyguard.
That's right, The Bodyguard. Okay, Terry, here we go. Question 2, are you ready?
Yes.
Friedrich was the middle name of which composer? Copland, Holst, or Handel?
I don't think it would be Copeland. That was American. So it's between Holst and Handel. I think I will go for Handel.
Quite right, Terry. Well done. Second point to you. Who was the lead singer, Daphne, of the Liverpool band Echo and the Bunnymen? No one's laughing through here. No one's laughing. It's very serious. Was it Ian Brodie, Ian McCulloch, or Ian Brown?
I think, said she, it's Ian Brodie.
You think it's Ian Brodie.
Tell me I'm right.
It would do so much for your street cred if you were right,
Yeah.
but it's Ian McCulloch.
Is it? So who's Ian Brodie?
Isn't that Lightning Seeds?
Oh, Lightning Seed, yes, that's where I got it from.
Yeah, Ian McCulloch, Echo and the Bunnymen.
Sorry.
It's all right. So if you get this question right, Terry, you've done it. What type of instrument is the mellophone? Is it a keyboard, a horn, or a drum?
I don't think it's a drum, because it's a horn or a keyboard. I will go for a keyboard.
Are you basing that on a record you've heard or anything like that?
I'm basing it on the fact I have heard of it, but if I've heard it, it's more likely to be a keyboard than a horn.
It's a horn. Is that you Duckenders? Is that the instrument they use at the beginning of Strawberry Fields, or is that something else? Was it mellotron or something?
Mellotron. Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
All right, Terry, Daphne's still in it. Daphne, this question is yours. The Symphony of 1000 and the Titan Symphony are popular titles of works by which composer born in 1860? Was it Mozart, Mahler, or Wagner?
Now that's what I call music. It's Mahler.
You're right, it is Mahler. Well done. So after 3 questions, you each have 2 points. Scores are level. We go on to sudden death. And to make it that bit harder, Terry, as you probably know, you have to give me the answer without multiple choice. Terry, the Gershwin songs Swanee and My Mammy were signature tunes of which entertainer? Born in 1886.
I would think that would be Al Jolson.
You're right, it was.
Can I have one like that?
No.
No.
Daphne.
Why not?
Because he just had it. Who sang with George Michael on the 1999 UK hit single, which was called As?
As.
Spelled A-S.
Oh.
As.
Well, as I don't know the answer, I'll have to, Oh, dear.
You can guess?
Yeah, I'm going to have to guess. I think he recorded something with Catherine Zeta-Jones, so I'll go with that.
I'm afraid you're wrong, Daphne. It was Mary J. Blige, originally Stevie Wonder song. So, Terry, well done. You took on one of the Eggheads. You emerged triumphant. Good news for our challengers here, the Duckenders, because it means that Terry will be able to play in today's final round. Congratulations. Both of you, please come back and join your teammates. All right, as it stands, the challengers have lost 1 brain from the final round, but the Eggheads have also lost 1 brain. Next subject is food and drink. Who from the challengers will be playing in this round, and tell us who you'd like to take on.
No, not a lot.
Well, we were waiting for geography to come up.
Yes, we're still waiting for that.
You only good on food and drink?
No, Manish Clive for science.
Yeah, you then.
Mind, but I'm no good at it.
I'll have a go at it.
Yeah, I think
I'll have a go at it. I'll do this one, Jeremy.
Okay,
Yeah.
Trevor, it's you. It was John saying I'm no good at it.
Well,
Sort of forced your hand slightly.
we're on plan B now, okay?
Plan B, well, it's not bad for this stage. I tell you, we've had plan D by this stage before. Which Egghead?
Food and drink.
Kevin?
Well, we reckon that Kevin's only got one tiny weakness.
You've got
And
the
it might
choice.
be food and drink, so I'll have a pop at Kevin.
Okay, CJ, Kevin, or Judith was the choice. You want Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin, I can tell you, does not own a working oven. So, Trevor from the Duckenders, Kevin from the Eggheads. To ensure there's no conferring, please go and take your positions in the question room. Trevor, it's multiple choice, 3 questions, and you have the choice of going with the first or the second set of questions.
I'd like to go first, please, Jeremy.
Trevor, what is the principal ingredient of a traditional black pudding? Is it lungs, blood, or stomach lining?
Well, coming from Lancashire, if I didn't know the answer to that question, I'd have to be shot, actually. It's blood. in the traditional ingredient of black pudding.
You are right. Well done. It is blood. Kevin, which aromatic herb has a flavour similar to that of aniseed? Sage, bay, or tarragon?
I think of those, I would go for tarragon.
Would you now?
Yeah, well, I don't actually know it, so I'm going for tarragon.
You're right. It is tarragon. Question 2 to Trevor. Piri piri is an African name for which kind of ingredient? Sweet potato, chili, or corn?
Well, it's not sweet potato, and I don't think it's corn. It's a chili spice that the Portuguese use on their chicken, actually, peri peri chicken.
Chili is the correct answer. Well done. Kevin, feta cheese is traditionally made from the milk of which animal? Sheep, cow, or buffalo?
That's sheep, Jeremy.
You're right, it is a sheep. A succinct round this. You're going to the answer straight away, you two. It's 2 points apiece. Let's see whether you can clinch it, Trevor. In Turkey, what is Ayran, which is spelled A-Y-R-A-N? Is it a yogurt drink, chickpea tart, or spiced bread?
Interesting. I don't think it's a yogurt drink. I've never heard the expression, actually. So a guess between chickpea tart and spiced bread. I'll go for spiced bread.
It's not spiced bread, it is yogurt drink, actually. Ayran in Turkey. So, Kevin, you could win the round with your answer to this question. At which restaurant did Gordon Ramsay work under head chef Marco Pierre White in the mid-1980s? Was it Harvey's, Le Gavroche, or Delugo?
I don't know it. I associate both Le Gavroche and Delugo with other people. So I'm thinking, this is not my final definite answer at the moment, I'm thinking Harvey's, but let me just have a... Now, Le Gavroche is to do with the ruse, I think, and Delugo is to do with Anthony Worrell Thompson. So, Harvey's.
Harvey's is your answer?
Yeah.
You're right, Kevin. It's Harvey's. Well done, Kevin. Trevor, sorry, you were beaten by our egghead. As a result, you won't be able to help your team in the final round. Would you both please come back and join your teams? So as it stands, the challengers have lost 2 brains from the final round, whilst the eggheads have lost only 1 brain. The last subject is arts and books. Who from the challengers wants to take on an egghead?
John's happy with that, isn't he?
Yeah.
John, it's you.
Yeah.
Retired HR director.
That's right.
Against? You pick.
CJ.
Yeah.
CJ, I think.
Okay, it is John from the Duckenders versus CJ from the Eggheads. And to ensure there's no conferring, please take your positions in the question room. John, you can choose whether you have the first or the second set of questions. Go ahead.
I'll go first, please.
John, which American author and Nobel Prize winner, nicknamed Papa, was a noted devotee of fishing, big game hunting and bullfighting? Was it Upton Sinclair, J.D. Salinger, or Ernest Hemingway?
Well, I think with the big game fishing, I do know that Ernest Hemingway lived in Cuba for a while, so I think the answer is Hemingway.
Quite right, it was Ernest Hemingway. CJ. Alan Quatermain is the central character in which classic adventure story first published in 1885? Is it The Prisoner of Zenda, King Solomon's Mines, or The 39 Steps?
I think he's in King Solomon's Mines.
You sound like you're still thinking, but I'm taking that as your answer. Am I right to?
You are absolutely right, Tom.
And your answer is correct. Well done. John, where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Is an 1897 work by which artist? Is it Marcel Duchamp, Paul Gauguin, or Claude Monet?
I don't actually know the answer to this. I do not think it's Monet. I think the answer to this question may be Duchamp.
I'm sorry, it's wrong. It's Gauguin. CJ, next question. In a much quoted first line, Robert Herrick's poem To the Virgins, to make much of time, suggests doing what while ye may? Gather ye rosebuds, gather ye chestnuts, or gather ye pumpkins?
Well, this is one of those instances where I'm just going to ignore the question and just pick with one of those that I've heard of, which is gather ye chestnuts.
Yeah, gather ye chestnuts is wrong. It's gather ye rosebuds. Next question to you, John. The Box of Delights is a children's book by which British writer? Philip Larkin, John Betjeman, or John Masefield?
Again, one I'm not sure of. I don't think it will be Philip Larkin, which probably leaves us therefore with John Betjeman or John Masefield. Of those two, I would suspect John Betjeman might be the more likely to have written a children's book. So John Betjeman.
It's the wrong answer. It's John Masefield. So CJ, you can take the round if you get this right. Dora Maar, Françoise Gillot, and Marie-Thérèse Walter were three of the many lovers of which painter? Pablo Picasso, Henri Matisse, or Juan Miro?
Dora Maar was famously the person who took the photographs chronicling the procedure when Guernica was being painted and helped Picasso fill in the little lines on the horse right at the end. It's Pablo Picasso.
CJ, you're right, it was Pablo Picasso. You take the round, well done. John, you were beaten by our egghead. As a result, you won't be able to help your team in the final round. So would you both please come back and join your teams? So this is what we've been playing towards. It's time for the final round, which as always is general knowledge. But I'm afraid those of you who lost your head-to-heads won't be allowed to take part in this round. So Trevor, Bruce and John from the Duck Enders and Daphne from the Eggheads, would you please leave the studio? Terry and Clive, you are playing to win the Duck Enders £9,000. Judith, Kevin, CJ and Chris, you are playing for something which money can't buy, the Eggheads' reputation. As usual, I will ask each team 3 questions in turn. This time the questions are all general knowledge and you are allowed to confer. Duck Enders, the question is, are your 2 brains better than the Eggheads' 4? Terry and Clive, would you like to go first or second?
First? Yeah. We would like to go first.
Carry on going first.
In Greek mythology, who was given ass's ears for saying that Apollo's music was inferior to Pan's? Was it Zeus, Jason or Midas? In Greek mythology, who was given ass's ears for saying that Apollo's music was inferior to Pan's?
Wow, Zeus? Couldn't have been Zeus. It couldn't have been Zeus, could it? Because he was the king of the gods.
Well, in fact, Midas was the guy who touched everything went to gold.
So
Jason was the guy who wandered off looking for the fleece, the all Argonauts. I think it might be Zeus.
Do you? I really don't know, so I think it's your call.
Well, that's the other 2.
What are you thinking?
Well, we're thinking...
We're both thinking different things, so...
I see.
We've ruled one out. Did, and it's whether Zeus, as king of the gods, would be told to wear an ass's ears.
Which is...
dubious.
So...
I don't remember Jason on his travels wearing ass's ears. Midas really was just turned everything to gold. I think I'd end up with Zeus from that.
Okay. We'll go with Zeus.
Zeus was given ass's ears, you say. You're wrong. It was Midas. As in the Midas touch?
Yeah.
But that was different. Same guy,
2 stories.
different incident. Eggheads. Iona is part of which group of islands? The Channel Islands, the Inner Hebrides, or the Shetland Islands?
Who's speaking? It's me, isn't it? It's Inner Hebrides. That is the Inner Hebrides.
Well done, Judith. You're right. It is the Inner Hebrides. Your second question, Duck Enders. In December 2007, it was announced that the royal family of which country was to be abolished after the establishment of a new constituent assembly? Is it Holland, Spain, or Nepal? In December 2007, it was announced the royal family of which country was to be abolished after the establishment of a new constituent assembly?
Well, Holland has still got a royal family, haven't they?
Yeah, so has Spain.
And so have Spain.
So Nepal had all that trouble with the prince and everything else.
I would think it must be Nepal, mustn't it?
That's
Yes,
right, yeah.
we're saying Nepal.
You're quite right. It is Nepal. 1 point to you. The American John Kenneth Galbraith was best known for his work in which area, Eggheads? Was it genetics, economics, or astrophysics? The American John Kenneth Galbraith was best known for his work in which area?
That was...
Is there not much conferring going on here?
No, we've done it already.
It was like a nanosecond you conferred for.
We knew this.
Just the vibes swim round. And
You confer by conduction.
Yes, exactly. Economics.
You're right. It is economics. So question 3, and you need this, Duck Enders. You really need this. Which vehicle takes its name from the Latin for to pull? Is it the tractor, the lorry, or the taxi? Which vehicle takes its name from the Latin for to pull?
It must be the tractor, mustn't it? Because it's the only one that pulls amongst those.
Yes.
Yeah, so as it's the only one that pulls amongst those, we're going to say tractor.
You're right. The logic was absolutely brilliant. Very robust. It is the tractor. You're still in there. Now, Eggheads, if you get this question right, you have won the contest. So we have tension here. In which part of Europe did the polka dance originate? Bohemia, Scandinavia, or Italy?
Bohemia. Bohemia.
How did you come to that answer?
By the usual conduction.
We know the general country area it evolved in. That's in Bohemia.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's Bohemia. Congratulations, Eggheads. You've won. Commiserations, challengers. The Eggheads have done what comes naturally to them, and their winning streak continues. I'm afraid you won't be going home with the £9,000, which means that the money rolls over to the next show. Eggheads, congratulations. Who will beat you? Join us next time to see if the new challengers have the brains to defeat the Eggheads. £10,000 says they don't. Till then, goodbye.
Battling bull elephants fight for the right to mate. The Elephants of Samburu at 7. But next on BBC Two, Claudia looks back at Strictly's history of fabulous frocks in the company of June Sarpong.
At TV Licensing, our technology lets you pay your license online in minutes. Visit tvlicensing.co.uk anytime to pay your license or update your details. TV Licensing, it's all in the database.
A little number from Sophie Ellis-Bextor's wardrobe and some serious designer heels on offer with Twiggy's Frock Exchange at 8. But now on BBC Two, lip-smacking, toe-tapping, high-kicking, passer-dobling, Strictly.
One Dancing, It Takes Two on the show tonight. They lost the viewers' vote once again at the weekend, but winning over the judges meant they lived to dance another day. Heather and Brian are here. Plus, stylist to the stars, Jerry DeVoe, and the fashion-forward June Sarpong will be giving us their thoughts on the girls' dresses so far. And Christine, the carnival queen, she and Matthew scored their highest mark yet with the samba, but can they keep it up? They're here. So their Strictly dream almost turned to a nightmare at the weekend, but the judges threw them their second lifeline. Here's what happened to Heather and Brian.
It's decision time. Heather and Brian.
Heather and Brian.
Heather and Brian.
Now that I've been in the dance-off, I know what it feels like, and I don't really want to go back there too often. Saturday is gone, and my son and I have a saying, gone and in the past. The only thing you can change is the future. So I'm looking towards Saturday and the samba and getting ready to do the best that I can.
Will Heather Small and her dance partner, Brian Fortuna, please take to the floor?
The only good thing about that for me was the end.
You look like you were at different parties. You were letting him do all the work.
You're thinking about the steps instead of thinking about the performance.
You have to be on it from the beginning. A performance starts when you enter the stage.
4.
6.
6. 7.
We had a great time with it, and the only thing we can do from here is hope that the people at home support us and want to see more of us.
It's decision time.
Heather and Brian.
Heather and Brian.
Heather and Brian.
We've been through 2 dance-offs, so still going to get, you know, that's tough. And we're still standing. In fact, we're still dancing.
Please welcome Heather and Brian. You both look marvellous. Thank you for coming.
Thank you,
That must have been tough.
Yeah, it was quite difficult. At the time, it didn't seem as difficult, but on reflection and thinking about it, I found it was quite hard.
Which bit do you like the least, if you like? The judges' comments, or then being in the dance-off? Like, let's define which...
Can we pick both?
You absolutely can. I mean, Brian, how difficult is it for you? You guys are training really hard. You go out there, you're called lacklustre and laboured.
Well, that's what's really frustrating, Claudia. I mean, you know, Heather's pouring her heart and soul into this, and she gives her all. She's got a lot going on. She has other performances happening. She still comes in and she gives 100%. And to go out and do that, and for somebody like Craig to have nothing positive to say, and, you know, in my opinion, be semi-malicious, you know, it's hurtful. And it makes me feel bad, and it makes me disappointed that Heather has to listen to something like that because she doesn't deserve it.
I love how protective you are. I know, really are Leonardo DiCaprio. When you were standing there, did you want to say something? Did you want to go, hold on just a minute?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, your initial reaction, for me anyway, is to be defensive for Heather, because I think she was fabulous. I thought she came out. I thought she was very energetic. Now, obviously, there's something that we haven't been doing to please them, and we're going to work a little bit harder this week to try to come back and do that because we want to be in this competition.
I have no idea what it is I have to please them. I have to say, though, you know, I'm not an easy performer, and even though I sing for a living, the journey I have to go through to get to the stage, you know, is a long one. So going out there every Saturday, I mean, I don't sleep Friday night, and I am terrified. And I know when I get scared, my face becomes a mask.
This is what I was about to say, because
I don't smile anymore because I'm just terrified.
Terrified, and also you don't look, like I said to you today. How much do you want to be in it?
Oh no, I do want to be in it.
I know you do.
I've joined it, and I have fun with the rehearsals. Love Brian's company.
And you love dancing out there, but I think your fear, people don't know that you're more scared than almost anyone.
I don't think people really understand how nervous Heather is, because she loves what she's doing, I can tell you that. But Heather, and I'm sorry to say this, but I'm going to say it, she's scared to death. There we go. She's scared to death.
And you must be even more scared to death after getting those comments, because every time you go out, it's a bit like, ooh.
Yeah, the comments is quite harsh. You know, the marks are the marks, but some of the comments are harsh. And after you've heard that, and if you don't have anything that's really constructive, you think, well, I'm going to have to dance again.